bow to be 18 inches wide. So I measure that out and cut it. So that's where these two pieces are from right now. I am going to use a sheet to cover this piece for the main part of the loops for the bow. The sheet came from Target. It was a $20 set, a queen set. I was there to buy a $9 set, but I like this print better. Get out pretty side down. And now I'm going to put the foam on top of it. Now I'm going to put the cut sheet, I'm going to hot glue it down. I'm going to put the cut side down first so that the pretty side that has a hem will be on top. So I've hot glued the cut side of the sheet down to the foam. I'm getting ready to do the hem side of the sheet over to this side with hot glue. Kind of pull it tight as you are gluing, and you can pull on it a good bit. Okay, so now the fabric is all glued to the foam. I've left the ends because I feel like it's going to be easier to gather in the middle. I'm going to gather, first I'm going to find the middle once I've made the loops, and I'm going to mark it. That way I can scrunch it together with my zip tie. It's barely visible, but you can see I marked my middle. And so now I'm going to take the end of one side, and I'm going to, that's where the foam is going to be. All of this is extra off of the end of the sheet where I didn't cut it. So I'm going to check and see if this is the way that how big I want my bow to be. So that's what the loops will look like before it's all scrunched together to make the bow. So here's the middle back squished together. I have zip tied it. So now you can see the shape of the bow starting to come. So I'm going to push this down to make it not like a hump. I'm going to push it the other way, and then I'm going to come in here and squish these two sides together to make my bow. I just began by folding each side down and then kind of gathering it. You can see I have it in my hand. I'm about to zip tie it together, and then at the very end I will zip tie all of it together. Okay, so now both sides are made into my loops, and see I have all that extra fabric. I'm gonna try to play with it and see if I want to zip tie just the fabric to it so that I have a big knot for in the middle, or if I want to zip tie the actual foam together. That's my next step. I ended up putting them side by side, and my zip ties were not long enough, so I had to put two together. So I'm going to snip all of these, and then I'm going to make the knot. I am going to end up cutting this material off the ends. I thought I was going to use it, but I ended up not. Okay, so here is the completed halfway bow. So you can see they're connected in the middle. This will end up being my front of my bow. I think, we'll see. I don't know. It may end up being that this is it. We'll put a big thing here. I don't know. We're playing this by ear. All right, so here is the bow put together semi. I'm going to cut a piece of the extra foam and cover it with fabric to make my knot. Okay, so you can see about the shape I cut to make the center of my bow. Obviously, I made it too wide at first, so those are all the scrap pieces. But just make sure it goes all the way around and it fits inside of your bow the way you want it to look. Okay, here's my piece all covered, and again I have the extra tails. Now here's my bow. I flipped my bow over just to pick it up, and ended up that I like the look of this side better. This is the side that I thought was going to be the front, where we attached all the zip ties to. So I'm going to put my center now on this side, just because I like the way it looks better. This foam is great because you can mold it and move it around the way you want. So now I'm just taking it in the middle and I'm going to wrap it around as tight as I can and hot glue it. Okay, so here's my finished bow part. I will be making some of the tails to go with it out of the extra sheet, but I don't know how long I need them. I'm putting this up in my classroom. I had seen these bows made with reflective insulation, and I just didn't want to have to go to Lowe's or Home Depot to find it. And I got this foam roll at Hobby Lobby, and it's really light. It's easy to use. It was $6 and something. And I bought two just because I didn't know if I needed it for the tail part. And the sheet set was $20 just because it was a queen set. I don't know if they're different price for the smaller sets, but I wanted the gingham, and that's why I ended up just go ahead and paying for that part, and I can use the other part of the sheets for something else in my classroom. So here's my finished bow. When I get it up in my room and decide on tails, I will come back. Okay, so here are the tails that I've cut. This is the offcut from making the main bow, so I felt like it was a good size for the tail. So I just cut the fabric slightly larger. I haven't cut the dovetail yet on this one, so here's the dovetail I've cut for the longer one. I did make one a little bit longer because of where I'm putting it in my classroom, so one side needed to be shorter than the other. So I'll get back to you when I have this covered. Okay, so that I've already got the one covered. So now that I want to go ahead and cover the second tail, I'll show you what I did. This is the part I cut for the dovetail, so I want to make sure that they are the same. So I'm going to lay this there and I'm going to cut it out. So now that is cut, I'm going to cut the fabric right up the middle here so that I can fold it over my ends so that they will be covered. Okay, so I've cut it here in half. I am going to take this piece that's in the middle of the dovetail. I'm going to fold it over and I'm going to hot glue both sides down, just like this. Okay, so I hot glued these pieces down. So now you see there's a flap of fabric. Could you cut it? Absolutely. I didn't want to do that, so I am about to fold it. So I pulled it a little tight, that way it's nice and flat on the front. I am going to take this edge and I'm going to see what it's going to look like once it's covered. So now I need to fold this up like you're making, I say it looks like making a snowflake. I don't know. This is how I fold my paper when I do snowflakes. So I'm making like a cone or a triangle shape. Then I'm going to fold it again in to see if that makes it correctly. Now see this little piece that's kind of hanging over? I'm just going to tuck it in and hot glue it when I am doing my hot glue. So what I will do first is I will put some hot glue on either side. I will fold it, maybe fold it that way that little piece doesn't stick out. Play around with it before you actually hot glue. Then I'll hot glue this fabric to this fabric, and then I'll fold it over and hot glue it all together. Okay, so I have it hot glued. It doesn't have to be pretty on this side. And I just used a little bit of glue when I was talking about sticking those pieces together. So let's try to see if I can show you what I did on this side. So this piece is already hot glued down. So now I'm going to fold this in, fold it in. This side doesn't have as much extra fabric, so it shouldn't be as big of a deal. I'm going to check it. Okay, I need to fold it just a little more. And then I'm going to fold it over. And that way I don't have pieces sticking out. But if I did, I would just cut it, or I would hot glue it more so it would stay in. Okay, so now that's all hot glued down right there on the end to make our dovetail. Now, as you are hot gluing this piece down, make sure you kind of pull it a little tight so that it's nice and flat on the front. So I'm going to hot glue all the way up the sides and across the top. Okay, so it's now all covered, all hot glued down. You'll notice that some pieces this is the foam part. It didn't cover. It's okay, it's on the back. This folded over and met on the other side. It doesn't have to meet on the other side because you're not gonna see this part. This part up here was a little wider somehow when I cut it. So I just kind of made a corner and shoved it down. Because I'm putting this against the wall, it won't matter as much because I'll hot glue it again when I'm putting it up on the wall. Okay, here's the bow on my wall. You can see that I hot glued them to the wall. There's no other real way to connect these to this wall since it's a Brico Block wall. I had to get up on a ladder so I couldn't film while I was hot gluing it up there. But you can see how one is a little longer than the other. And on my wall, this is an empty spot I'm gonna put student work. So I really, really like the way it turned out. Please be careful with hot glue. As you know, it's very hot and you can burn yourself easily. Thank you, and I hope you like the bow.